Welcome, my friends, to the Bob and Brad podcast, produced by Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet. I am Bob, exactly one half of the Bob and Brad team. And today, my partner in crime is actually
Mike Keenetz, PT assistant.
Right, no Brad. But we're going to talk about with Ross Clifford. He is the author of the book. Mike, want to say it?
Build your own bulletproof body, all body weight exercises or stretches and foam rolling as well.
You're going to find this really interesting. Here we go. Welcome to the program, Ross Clifford. So I'm a big fan of the book, Build Your Own Bulletproof Body. We'll have a link below. All right, the final section, we're going to talk about how to bulletproof your spine. So one of the common spine problems that these exercises might help.
Well, I guess the main one is a postural type of dysfunction.
Sure.
So, often in clinical practice, a lot of patients will say to me, look, I've got back pain. What's wrong with my back? And often the answer is, well, there's nothing wrong with your back. It's just not evolved to sit at a desk for 10 hours a day. So you're placing strain on the back that really, it shouldn't be there for a prolonged period of time. It should be there in short bursts, but it shouldn't be there for many hours. The main thing is we see a lot of postural dysfunction. Now, one of the things that can then lead to is an overloading at the, you'll hear a lot of people talk about discs, disc prolapse, disc bulge, that sort of thing. So we're talking about the sort of the cushion that sits in between the vertebrae or the bones of the spine. And what can happen is if you've got excessive loading on the front of those bones, the front of those vertebrae, you'll load the front of the disc by compressing it, but then you'll stretch the posterior or back part of the disc. And going back to what we discussed in a previous episode was this idea of a rubber band being kept on prolonged stretch. If you permanently deform the elastic fibers and the collagenous fibers in the part of the disc at the back, you may then be prone to repetitive disc bulges and disc prolapses. And that is something that unfortunately I do see commonly in clinical practice.
Yeah, disc creep, right?
Creep, thank you. Yeah. Yes.
So what are the goals of bodyweight exercises prescribed for the spine?
Alignment, I think, is the key. And then how do you maintain that alignment? So a lot of the exercises will be trying to take you into movements like extension to try and smooth out that prolonged bending of the spine. And then once you're in that position, how do we re-engage the muscles in the abdomen, in the glutes, in the front of the hip, at the back of the spine? How do we re-engage all those muscles to make underactive muscles more active and shorter? And how do we stretch short, overactive muscles and take some of the tension out of them?
Now we're talking about the spine. We're talking about all the way up to. So let's go with first exercise, neck retraction.
Yeah. So in the UK, we pronounce that the cervical spine. Is that how you guys would say that? Or
we're cervical.
Cervical. So we differentiate that from cervical problems that maybe pertain only to women. So if I use the word cervical, I mean cervical. Gotcha. So basically, yes, the neck. The idea is here that you use a retraction because most people will sit in a degree of protraction, which involves some extension at the extension of the upper neck, the upper cervical spine. And the idea is you're really trying to stretch that out. And also by doing that as well, you'll offload the middle spine, the thoracic spine as well. So retraction of the neck, it can be done actively, so just by using your own muscles. It can be used passively. You can do it laid supine on your back in a nice, comfortable position. The trick is always, I explain to my patients, is try and maintain an eye level, right, and fix your eyes on something, because otherwise what will happen is you just end up looking down, which is not actually then a retraction. So fix your eyes on something and then just try and tuck that chin backwards and feel the stretch. And also try and increase the distance between your ears and your shoulders to get that stretch as well.
Do you want to talk about foam rolling for the upper spine, so thoracic area?
Yes, sure. So this is very similar to what we discussed in the previous episode on the shoulder, which was around loading enough of the spine onto the foam roller that you feel comfortable. And if you're able to take most of your weight, then the idea is you perhaps just cross your arms over your chest. You've got the foam roller going across the length of the spine, and then using your legs, you just bring yourself backwards and forwards over that foam roller, just ironing out all those knotted areas in the muscles. Again, just bringing yourself into that little bit of thoracic extension, and getting that little bit of a pop and a click as the spine cavitates, as you offload it against gravity and iron out those knotted areas.
Very good. How about the standing side stretch?
So standing side stretch is quite an easy one. Again, we would put that as a level 1 exercise, accessible for everybody. And the idea here is that you're trying to open up on one side of your trunk, whilst if you want to, you can add in the shoulder as well, and that creates more of a stretch for latissimus dorsi. If you have shoulder issues, you can just put your arms by your side, and then you can just reach down one leg, so left leg with left arm, and then vice versa, right arm down right leg. And the idea is you're opening up the joints, the facet joints of the spine. You're stretching the rib cage on that side, and then there's also a muscle that tends to get quite tight called quadratus lumborum that sits between the top of the pelvis and the lower ribs, and often that's a very tight knotted area, and just stretching that out on each side as well.
Do you want to talk about the benefits of the cat stretch?
Yeah, so the cat stretch is probably one that people are familiar with if they've done yoga or Pilates type exercises. So again, it's nothing new. And again, it would be one of those entry-level exercises that's good for everybody. And the idea is you're just trying to get that nice rounded posture, which sounds counterintuitive because we probably spend much of our day in that position. But the beauty is you're forcing perhaps the bits that wouldn't normally go into that rounded stretch, and making sure that they get an adequate stretch as well. But the particular beauty and benefit of the cat stretch is that, again, you're loading through the shoulders, so you've got that loaded exercise there as well, and you're also creating some degree of knee flexion and some plantar flexion at the ankle as well, to stretch out
it's the whole body,
those body parts as well.
The next one, I like it a lot, is a new one to me, rear support.
Yeah, so the rear support is a nice one for toning up the hamstrings as well. So not the hamstrings, the triceps. There you go. I'm testing myself now. So the idea is with the rear support, and this is one of Ashley's exercises it's a foundation level exercise for anybody who's wanting to really develop their calisthenics ability. So I like it for multiple reasons. It tones up the triceps. It brings the shoulder joint into a degree of extension, which we very rarely do on a day-to-day basis. But to be able to hold the position, you need to be able to elongate the spine, you need to be able to activate the core, and you need to be able to activate the glutes and a lot of muscles in the leg to be able to hold the position. And I challenge anybody to hold that position for more than 60 seconds.
I agree.
It's a real tough one. And you'll know if you've got tight shoulders. If you try that one, you'll know instantly.
Yeah, this looks very interesting. I've never heard of this. It looks like for those listening, it kind of looks like a push-up, but you're facing the ceiling.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Really on a level 2? I mean, is that a level 3?
Yeah, that would be probably a level 2, level 3, depending on your ability. But it's certainly one to aspire to. And that's the purpose of the book. We don't want anybody to come in and feel that they have a glass ceiling of level 1, level 2. The idea is they can be progressive. So if you come into using the book and you're not used to or confident with bodyweight exercises, once you then develop that confidence and that physical ability, you can then start to progress. But all of the exercises that are in this book are, comparatively with what are available in most calisthenics books, these are all relatively basic, apart from perhaps the handful that we've put in to try and engage the more athletic reader.
So do you have any other thoughts on bulletproofing your spine?
Ooh.
Frog stretch?
Good. Now I'm gonna move away from that broken record.
Sure.
I like prone extensions. So either passive or active. So you lay on your front and you can either pop your hands here and then use your spinal extensors to bring yourself up. Often sometimes referred to as the Superman. So you bring yourself in a Superman position. But if you do that, you're increasing the leverage with your arms. So if you find that difficult, bring the arms down by the side and then try and actively lift the chest off the floor. The other way to do it, to get more of a stretch at the lumbar spine and the thoracic spine, is to bring yourself into what would look like a lay down push up and then push up through your arms, but keep your pelvis and your legs on the floor or the bed.
Yeah, a personal favorite.
One of your favorites?
Yep. So we want to be respectful of your time. So we're going to thank you for taking the time to discuss all these exercises. And again, we want to mention the book. Mike,
do you have a website or anything where people can reach you at? Or social media?
I want to say yes, but I don't know what it is. Ashley would know. But
we'll put it in the description box below if you just want to email it to us.
Right.
Yeah. We'll send you something to post-production.
There we go.
That sounds good.
All right. Any final thoughts you want to give, Ross?
I just want to say thank you both for your time. It's been a pleasure to talk to you both, and I really appreciate this platform and this conversation that we've had today. So thank you very much.
Oh, it's a terrific book. So I suggest
thank you. Very
everybody
kind.
get one. Yeah. Okay.
You've got one already. What more could you ask for?
That's right.
We need two.